Ladies and gentlemen, self-control is the foundation upon which all virtues rest. Without it, wisdom is corrupted by impulse, ambition turns to recklessness, and integrity crumbles under the weight of temptation. A man who lacks self-control is a slave not to another person, but to his own desires, his own fears, and his own weaknesses. True freedom is not found in indulgence, but in the mastery of oneself. It is the ability to act, not in reaction to every impulse, but in accordance with reason and principle. To understand self-control, one must first recognize its necessity. The world is full of distractions, pleasures that beckon, and emotions that threaten to pull a man away from his purpose. Every day, choices are presented between action and inaction, between discipline and indulgence, between wisdom and folly. The man who lacks self-control is like a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the winds of emotion and desire take him. He cannot be trusted, for even he does not know what he will do next. He makes promises he cannot keep, pursues pleasures that bring him nothing but regret, and finds himself in situations he never intended to be in. A man of self-control, however, is different. He is the master of his mind and body. He does not allow fleeting emotions to dictate his actions. When anger arises, he does not lash out. When desire tempts him, he does not surrender. When fear grips him, he does not retreat. This is not to say he does not feel these things. He does, for he is human. But he does not let them rule him. He acknowledges them, understands them, and then chooses his course of action based on reason, not impulse. The ability to control oneself is the ability to endure hardship without complaint. The world does not bend to the will of man, rather man must learn to navigate the world with patience and resilience. The man who lacks self-control is easily broken. He is frustrated by inconvenience, defeated by minor setbacks, and overwhelmed by emotions he cannot contain. In contrast, the man who possesses self-control endures without bitterness. He accepts pain without allowing it to define him. He does not lament the difficulties of life, but faces them with a steady mind. In relationships, self-control is one of the most attractive and respected qualities a man can possess. A man who cannot control himself is unpredictable and unreliable. He is quick to anger, unable to resist temptation, and ruled by his emotions. No woman, or any person for that matter, wishes to be around someone who is a prisoner of their own weaknesses. A man with self-control, however, offers security and stability. He does not allow jealousy to cloud his judgment, nor does he let momentary attraction lead him astray. He does not need to be constantly reassured, nor does he crumble when faced with difficulties. His presence is a source of calm, not chaos. Beyond relationships, self-control is the key to achievement. Many dream of success, but few have the discipline to pursue it. It is easy to make plans, to speak of ambition, to dream of a better life. But when difficulty arises, when the work becomes tedious, when distractions appear, most abandon their pursuits. The man of self-control does not. He does not allow momentary discomfort to deter him from long-term goals. He wakes up early even when his body begs for more sleep. He works diligently, even when no one is watching. He does not indulge in excess, for he knows that short-term pleasure often comes at the cost of long-term gain. Consider the greatest thinkers, leaders, and warriors throughout history. They were not men who acted on impulse, nor were they men who sought pleasure over purpose. They were men of discipline, men who could endure hardship without surrendering to despair, men who could make decisions based on wisdom rather than emotion. Their greatness did not come from talent alone, but from the ability to master themselves. Without self-control, intelligence is wasted, strength is misused, and opportunity is squandered. Yet, self-control is not something one is born with, it is cultivated through practice. Every moment presents an opportunity to exercise it. It is in the choice to remain silent rather than argue needlessly. It is in the decision to walk away from temptation rather than entertain it. It is in the ability to push forward when the mind and body beg to stop. It is in the daily commitment to discipline, in the small victories that accumulate over time. There will be failures, of course. No man is perfect. There will be moments of weakness, lapses in judgment, and times when emotions gain the upper hand. But the difference between a man who possesses self-control and one who does not is that the former learns from his failures and strengthens his resolve. He does not excuse his weaknesses, he overcomes them. The world does not reward the undisciplined. It does not admire the man who succumbs to every temptation, nor does it respect the one who lacks control over his own actions. To be admired, to be respected, and to be truly free, one must first master oneself. That is the foundation upon which all greatness is built. Wisdom is not simply the accumulation of knowledge, nor is it the ability to recite facts or quote great thinkers. True wisdom is the ability to discern what is right, to see beyond the surface of things, and to act with reason rather than impulse. It is not merely intelligence, but the application of understanding in a way that aligns with virtue and truth. A man may be intelligent, well-read, and even knowledgeable about many things, but without wisdom, he is still prone to folly, arrogance, and misjudgment. Wisdom is what separates the reckless from the prudent, the foolish from the thoughtful, and the weak from the strong. It is the quality that allows a man to navigate life's trials with clarity, to make decisions that lead to long-term success rather than short-term gratification, and to cultivate relationships built on mutual respect rather than fleeting attraction. A wise man understands that life is not about controlling the external world, but about mastering one's internal world. He does not waste time trying to bend reality to his desires. Instead, he aligns himself with what is true and unchangeable. He recognizes that suffering often comes from attachment to things beyond his control, and so he learns to detach from illusions and accept life as it is. When faced with adversity, he does not curse his circumstances or blame others. He looks inward and asks what can be learned. He sees every difficulty as a teacher, every failure as a lesson, and every challenge as an opportunity to grow. Wisdom teaches a man when to act and when to remain still. Many are quick to speak, quick to judge, and quick to react. But the wise man knows that patience often yields the best results. He does not rush into conflict without understanding, nor does he allow emotions to dictate his response. He listens more than he speaks, observing the intentions and motives of others before forming conclusions. He knows that words once spoken cannot be taken back, and so he chooses them carefully. His silence is not a sign of weakness but of strength, for he understands that restraint is often more powerful than reckless speech. A man of wisdom does not seek the approval of the masses, for he knows that popular opinion is often swayed by emotion and ignorance. He is not concerned with fleeting validation but with truth. He does not alter his principles to fit the expectations of others, nor does he compromise his values for acceptance. He stands firm in his convictions, not out of stubbornness, but because he has examined them deeply and found them to be just. He is open to learning, willing to change his perspective when reason demands it. But he does not bend simply to please others. Wisdom also brings humility. The foolish man believes he knows everything. The wise man understands how little he truly knows. He does not seek to dominate conversations with his opinions, nor does he assume that his perspective is the only correct one. Instead, he listens, learns, and seeks understanding before passing judgment. He values the insights of others, knowing that wisdom can come from unexpected places. He does not view disagreement as an attack but as an opportunity to refine his thinking. He does not fear being proven wrong, for he knows that the pursuit of truth is more important than the preservation of pride. A wise man understands the impermanence of life. He does not cling to material wealth, for he knows that possessions can be lost in an instant. He does not chase pleasure endlessly, for he recognizes that indulgence without restraint leads to emptiness. He does not fear death, for he accepts it as a natural part of existence. Because he does not waste time worrying about things beyond his control, he is free to focus on what truly matters, living with integrity, treating others with respect, and pursuing knowledge that enriches the soul. Wisdom also governs relationships. A man who lacks wisdom may seek companionship based on superficial desires, chasing attraction without considering character. He may fall for illusions, believing in promises that cannot be kept, and placing trust in those who do not deserve it. He may allow his emotions to cloud his judgment, leading him to make choices that bring suffering rather than fulfillment. The wise man, however, understands that true connection is built on more than fleeting emotions. He looks beyond surface-level attraction and seeks depth, character, and virtue in those he surrounds himself with. He does not allow passion to override reason, nor does he invest in relationships that are built on falsehoods. He chooses his companions carefully, knowing that the company one keeps shapes one's character. A wise man does not engage in meaningless conflict. He understands that most arguments are fueled by ego rather than truth, and he does not waste energy trying to prove himself to those who are unwilling to listen. He picks his battles wisely, knowing that some fights are not worth the cost. He does not seek revenge, for he knows that bitterness only poisons the soul. Instead, he moves forward, unburdened by resentment, focusing his energy on what can be changed rather than what cannot. Wisdom also teaches a man the importance of self-discipline. He understands that success is not achieved through luck or wishful thinking, but through consistent effort and restraint. He does not give in to every impulse, for he knows that indulgence without discipline leads to ruin. He sets goals, remains focused, and does not allow distractions to pull him away from his purpose. He knows that mastery of the self is the highest form of power, for the man who controls his own mind is not easily swayed by the chaos of the world. A wise man is not afraid of solitude. He does not need constant validation or the presence of others to feel secure. He is comfortable with his own thoughts, using solitude as a time for reflection and growth. He does not fear being alone, for he knows that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external sources. He is not desperate for attention or approval, for he understands that self-worth is not determined by how others perceive him. Wisdom is a lifelong pursuit. It is not something that is achieved and then possessed forever. It must be cultivated continuously. A wise man never stops learning, never stops questioning, and never assumes that he has reached the peak of understanding. He approaches life with curiosity, open to new perspectives but discerning in what he accepts as truth. He seeks knowledge, not for the sake of appearing intelligent, but for the purpose of living a life that is rich in meaning and guided by reason. In the end, wisdom is what allows a man to live with purpose, to face adversity without fear, and to build relationships based on trust and respect. It is the guiding force that keeps him steady in the face of uncertainty, the light that leads him through the darkness of ignorance, and the foundation upon which all other virtues are built. Without wisdom, strength is misused, ambition is misguided, and success is hollow. But with wisdom, a man can navigate the complexities of life with clarity, make choices that lead to fulfillment rather than regret, and cultivate a legacy that is built on truth rather than illusion. Reliability is the foundation of trust, the bedrock upon which relationships, reputations, and legacies are built. A man who is reliable is a man who commands respect, for he is not one to waver in his commitments or falter in his word. He does not make promises lightly, nor does he allow circumstances to dictate whether he follows through on his responsibilities. His word is his bond, and those who know him understand that when he speaks, his actions will align with his statements. To be reliable is to be steadfast in both great matters and small ones. A man who shows up when he says he will, who completes tasks without excuses, and who honors his obligations is a man who is trusted. Trust is not something that is demanded, it is earned through consistency over time. People observe actions more than they listen to words. A man may profess loyalty, competence, or commitment, but if his actions do not reflect these qualities, his words are empty. True reliability is proven not in moments of ease, but in moments of challenge, when keeping one's word requires effort, sacrifice, or discomfort. The unreliable man is the opposite of this. He is inconsistent, unpredictable, and careless with his promises. He may have good intentions, but intentions alone do not create trust, actions do. He cancels plans at the last minute, makes excuses when he fails to follow through, and shifts blame when his lack of dependability causes problems. Over time, people learn that he cannot be counted on. His presence becomes a source of uncertainty rather than stability. He may be charming, intelligent, or even talented, but without reliability, these qualities amount to little. A man who cannot be relied upon is ultimately a man who is left behind, for no one wishes to place their trust in someone who is inconsistent. Reliability is not just about fulfilling obligations to others, it is also about being reliable to oneself. A man who constantly breaks commitments to himself, whether in matters of discipline, personal growth, or self-improvement, will find it difficult to be reliable to others. The man who says he will wake early to pursue his ambitions but continually presses snooze is training himself in failure. The man who promises himself he will exercise discipline but constantly indulges his impulses is weakening his own integrity. To be reliable to others, one must first be reliable to oneself. If a man cannot trust himself to follow through on his own commitments, how can others trust him? In relationships, reliability is one of the most valued and attractive traits. A man who is dependable provides security, a sense of stability, and peace of mind. He is not one to leave doubts lingering, nor does he create unnecessary uncertainty. His actions provide reassurance, not confusion. When he makes a promise, his partner knows it will be kept. When he commits to something, it is as good as done. This does not mean he is without flaw, but rather that he does not allow his flaws to become an excuse for unreliability. If he falls short, he takes responsibility and makes amends. He does not hide behind excuses or attempt to shift blame. He acknowledges his mistakes and corrects them. In friendships and professional life, reliability is equally important. A reliable friend is one who is present in both good times and bad, who does not disappear when difficulty arises. A reliable colleague is one whose work can be counted on, who meets deadlines, and who does not leave others to pick up his slack. In every aspect of life, reliability creates trust, and trust creates strong relationships. Without reliability, there is no true partnership, only a fragile arrangement that can break at any moment. Reliability is often tested in adversity. It is easy to be dependable when conditions are favorable, when there are no obstacles, and when commitment requires little sacrifice. But when difficulties arise, when obligations become burdensome, and when keeping one's word requires discomfort, that is when true reliability is revealed. A reliable man does not abandon his responsibilities when they become inconvenient. He does not disappear when times get tough, nor does he seek the easiest path at the cost of his integrity. He remains steadfast even when it is difficult, because he understands that reliability is not just a matter of reputation, it is a matter of character. This does not mean that a man must never adjust his commitments. There are times when circumstances truly change, when new information makes a previous commitment unwise or impossible. But even in these cases, a reliable man does not simply vanish or abandon his obligations without explanation. He communicates, he takes responsibility, and he does everything within his power to make things right. He does not use changing circumstances as an excuse for irresponsibility. Rather, he handles adjustments with the same level of dependability that defines his character. A man of reliability is respected not only for what he does, but for who he is. People trust him not because of empty promises or grand gestures, but because he has proven, time and again, that he can be counted on. His reputation precedes him, and this reputation opens doors that talent or charm alone cannot. Employers seek such men, partners value such men, and friends cherish such men, because reliability is a rare and precious quality. Ultimately, reliability is not about perfection. No man is perfect, and no one can be counted on for everything at all times. But the difference between a reliable man and an unreliable one is that the reliable man takes his commitments seriously. He does not make promises he does not intend to keep. He does not excuse his failures with weak justifications. He does not leave others uncertain about where he stands. Instead, he builds trust, day by day, through consistent action. He is a man upon whom others can depend, and because of this he is a man who commands respect, admiration, and lasting loyalty. Ambition is the fire that drives a man forward, the force that separates those who live with purpose from those who merely exist. It is not simply the desire for more, nor is it the blind pursuit of wealth, status, or power. True ambition is the relentless pursuit of growth, the refusal to remain stagnant, and the commitment to making the most of one's potential. A man without ambition drifts through life, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them. He accepts what is given rather than striving for what is possible. Without ambition, there is no progress, no evolution, and no fulfillment. A man who lacks it may find comfort in his passivity, but he will never find greatness. A man with ambition, however, is different. He wakes with purpose, knowing that each day is an opportunity to advance towards something greater. He does not wait for life to hand him success. He seeks it, works for it, and refuses to accept mediocrity. He is not content with simply existing. He wants to build, to achieve, and to leave behind something of value. His ambition is not driven by external validation, but by an internal desire to grow. He does not chase success for the sake of appearances, nor does he seek recognition to feed his ego. His ambition is fueled by a deep understanding that life is short, and that to waste it in passivity is to betray one's potential. Ambition requires discipline. Many dream of success, but few are willing to do what is necessary to attain it. A man of ambition understands that dreaming is worthless without action. He does not simply talk about what he wants, he works toward it. He does not rely on motivation, for he knows that motivation is fleeting. Instead, he cultivates discipline, the ability to persist even when the path is difficult. He understands that true progress is not made through bursts of effort but through consistent, deliberate action. The ambitious man is not afraid of failure. He understands that setbacks are not the end of the road, but stepping stones on the path to success. Where others see obstacles, he sees opportunities to learn and improve. He does not allow failure to define him, nor does he allow fear to hold him back. He knows that the greatest achievements come not from avoiding risk, but from embracing it with wisdom and calculated effort. Every failure teaches him something valuable, and rather than being discouraged, he uses each lesson to refine his approach. Ambition does not mean recklessness. A truly ambitious man is not one who chases success blindly, without thought or strategy. He understands the value of patience, timing, and careful planning. He does not pursue every opportunity that presents itself, nor does he spread himself thin in an attempt to do everything at once. Instead, he focuses his energy where it matters most, identifying the paths that will lead him toward meaningful success. He is willing to make sacrifices, but he does so with a clear understanding of what is worth sacrificing and what is not. A man of ambition is not easily discouraged by the opinions of others. Many will doubt him, question his decisions, and attempt to dissuade him from his goals. Some will resent his drive, seeing in him a reflection of their own complacency. Others will misunderstand his commitment, mistaking his focus for arrogance or selfishness. But the ambitious man does not allow external voices to dictate his path. He listens to wisdom, but ignores negativity. He takes constructive criticism seriously, but does not waste time defending himself against those who do not understand his vision. Ambition is not about competing with others, it is about competing with oneself. The truly ambitious man does not measure his success against those around him, but against his own potential. He is not consumed by jealousy, nor does he feel threatened by the achievements of others. Instead, he draws inspiration from them, using their success as proof that greater things are possible. He does not seek to diminish others in order to elevate himself, rather he seeks to rise by his own merit. His ambition is not fueled by resentment or comparison, but by a deep desire to become the best version of himself. In relationships, ambition is an attractive and respected quality. A man who has direction, who is striving towards something meaningful, is naturally more compelling than one who drifts without purpose. He brings energy and passion into his interactions, inspiring those around him to also pursue their own growth. He does not allow his ambition to make him selfish, nor does he neglect those who matter to him in his pursuit of success. Instead, he balances his drive with the understanding that relationships require attention, effort, and presence. He is ambitious not only in his career or personal goals, but also in the way he builds and nurtures meaningful connections. Ambition is also the key to resilience. Life is unpredictable, full of unexpected challenges and difficulties. A man without ambition may crumble under adversity, seeing hardship as a reason to give up. But the ambitious man sees challenges as tests of his resolve. He understands that struggle is part of the journey, and that nothing worthwhile comes without effort. He does not waste time complaining about circumstances beyond his control. Instead, he focuses on what he can change and adapts accordingly. His ambition keeps him moving forward even when the path is difficult, ensuring that he never remains stuck in failure or disappointment. A man of ambition also understands the importance of continuous learning. He does not assume that he knows everything, nor does he become complacent with what he has already achieved. He is always seeking to improve, to expand his knowledge, and to refine his skills. He reads, listens, and learns from those who have gone before him. He is open to new ideas, willing to challenge his own beliefs, and humble enough to recognize that there is always more to understand. His ambition is not stagnant, it evolves as he grows, leading him toward ever greater achievements. Ultimately, ambition is not just about personal success, it is about making an impact. The truly ambitious man does not seek greatness only for himself, but strives to contribute something of value to the world. Whether through his work, his ideas, or his influence, he seeks to leave behind something that matters. He does not merely take from life, he gives to it, using his ambition to create, build, and uplift. His legacy is not one of selfish pursuit, but of meaningful contribution. To possess ambition is to refuse to accept mediocrity. It is to push forward when others remain still, to strive for excellence when others settle for good enough. It is the force that drives progress, the mindset that turns dreams into reality, and the trait that separates those who merely wish from those who achieve. A man without ambition is a man who lets life happen to him. A man with ambition, however, is one who shapes his own destiny, refusing to leave his potential unrealized. Composure is the ability to remain calm and collected in all situations, regardless of the pressures, emotions, or external chaos that may arise. It is the mark of a man who has mastered himself, who does not allow external circumstances to dictate his state of mind. Many react impulsively to difficulties, allowing anger, fear, or frustration to control their actions. But a man of composure does not fall prey to emotional turbulence. He understands that strength is not in aggression or outbursts, but in restraint and control. He moves through life with a steady presence, unaffected by the storms that might shake others. A composed man is not without emotions, rather he has learned to regulate them. He does not suppress how he feels, but he does not let his feelings rule him. He experiences anger, but does not act recklessly upon it. He feels fear, but does not allow it to paralyze him. He acknowledges disappointment, but does not let it consume him. His composure allows him to navigate difficulties with clarity, making decisions based on reason rather than impulse. Where others panic, he remains steady. Where others react thoughtlessly, he responds with precision. Composure is not just useful in moments of crisis, it is a quality that defines a man's daily life. It affects how he speaks, how he interacts with others, and how he handles challenges. A man who lacks composure is unpredictable. He is prone to emotional swings, rash decisions, and words spoken in haste. He may find himself constantly apologizing for things said in anger or regretful over actions taken without thought. But a composed man carries himself with intentionality. He does not have to backtrack, for he moves through life with awareness, never allowing temporary emotions to dictate permanent actions. This quality is especially evident in conflict. Many escalate disagreements because they cannot control their tempers. They raise their voices, allow their pride to dictate their words, and engage in unnecessary arguments. But a composed man does not seek to prove himself through loudness or aggression. He listens before he speaks, responds instead of reacts, and chooses his words carefully. He understands that not every conflict is worth engaging in, and that many problems resolve themselves when approached with patience rather than hostility. He does not allow the emotions of others to provoke him, nor does he let his own frustration lead him into unnecessary confrontation. Composure is also a mark of confidence. A man who remains calm under pressure demonstrates a level of stability that commands respect. Others look to him in moments of uncertainty, knowing that he will not be shaken. His presence alone brings reassurance, for he does not contribute to panic but instead provides steadiness. His confidence is not boastful, it is quiet, unwavering, and deeply rooted. He does not need to prove himself through exaggerated reactions or dramatic displays. Instead, his composure speaks for itself, making him someone others naturally turn to for guidance. This quality extends beyond conflict and into personal discipline. A composed man does not allow fleeting emotions to dictate his actions. He does not abandon his responsibilities because he is in a bad mood, nor does he allow frustration to derail his progress. He remains committed to his path, regardless of how he feels in the moment. He understands that emotions are temporary, but the results of his actions are lasting. Where others allow feelings to interfere with their goals, he remains steady, ensuring that his choices are guided by principle rather than impulse. A composed man also knows the power of silence. Many feel the need to fill every moment with words, to respond to every provocation, and to make their presence known. But silence is often more powerful than speech. A man who does not react impulsively to every situation demonstrates control. He does not allow others to dictate his responses, nor does he waste energy on unnecessary words. He speaks when necessary, but when silence is more powerful, he embraces it. His composure gives him the ability to remain still while others rush to react, and in that stillness he gains clarity that others miss. This ability to remain steady under pressure is not something that comes naturally to all. Many must cultivate it through experience, self-awareness, and discipline. A man must learn to step back from his emotions, to observe them rather than be controlled by them. He must practice restraint, ensuring that he does not allow temporary feelings to dictate his long-term actions. He must learn to breathe through frustration, to pause before reacting, and to remind himself that composure is strength. In relationships, composure is essential. Many allow emotions to turn small issues into large conflicts. They respond to misunderstandings with immediate defensiveness, turning discussions into arguments. But a composed man does not allow his emotions to control his responses. He listens before reacting, ensuring that he understands the situation fully before speaking. He does not raise his voice simply because he is frustrated, nor does he allow pride to prevent him from resolving conflicts peacefully. His ability to remain calm strengthens his relationships, allowing trust and understanding to grow rather than being eroded by impulsive reactions. In moments of uncertainty, composure is what allows a man to remain decisive. Many struggle to think clearly when under pressure, allowing anxiety or fear to cloud their judgment. But a composed man understands that panic does not solve problems, clarity does. He trains himself to remain steady, to focus on solutions rather than problems, and to trust his ability to navigate challenges. His ability to remain calm allows him to make rational decisions, even when others are overwhelmed by emotion. A composed man also understands that life is unpredictable. He knows that difficulties will arise, that setbacks will occur, and that challenges are inevitable. But he does not allow this uncertainty to disturb his peace. He accepts that he cannot control everything, and rather than resisting reality, he adapts to it. His composure allows him to move through life with a sense of calm, for he does not waste energy on unnecessary worry or frustration. He focuses on what he can control: his actions, his responses, and his mindset, rather than being consumed by what is beyond his influence. Ultimately, composure is one of the greatest strengths a man can cultivate. It allows him to navigate life with confidence, to handle difficulties with grace, and to maintain stability in an ever-changing world. It gives him the ability to remain focused in moments of chaos, to respond to challenges with wisdom, and to move through life with a steady presence that commands respect. A man of composure is not easily shaken, not easily provoked, and not easily swayed by temporary emotions. He stands firm in himself, guided by reason rather than reaction, ensuring that his life is defined by intention rather than impulse. Integrity is the foundation of a man's character. It is the unwavering commitment to truth, honor, and moral principles, regardless of the circumstances. A man of integrity does not compromise his values for convenience, nor does he bend his principles to suit the situation. His words align with his actions, and his actions align with his beliefs. He does not seek shortcuts or make excuses when faced with difficult choices. Instead, he stands firm in what he knows to be right, even when no one is watching. His honesty is not conditional, and his loyalty is not selective. He is the same person in public as he is in private, because integrity is not something he turns on and off, it is who he is. A man without integrity, on the other hand, is unreliable. He says one thing and does another. He shifts his values depending on who he is with or what he stands to gain. He is not someone others can trust, because his words hold no weight. He may speak of honor and loyalty, but his actions betray his lack of conviction. He is quick to justify dishonesty if it serves his interests, and he sees morality as flexible rather than absolute. Over time, such a man loses the respect of those around him, for people recognize that he stands for nothing beyond his own self-interest. Integrity is not about perfection, nor is it about never making mistakes. Every man, no matter how disciplined, will face moments of weakness. What separates the man of integrity from others is how he responds when he falls short. He does not cover up his errors with lies or deception. Instead, he takes full responsibility for his actions, acknowledges his mistakes, and makes things right. He does not shift blame or attempt to manipulate the truth. He understands that his reputation is built not on never failing, but on how he handles failure. By owning his actions, he strengthens the trust others have in him, proving that even in his flaws, he remains true to his principles. A man of integrity also values his word. When he makes a promise, he keeps it. He does not make commitments lightly, because he understands that his reliability is measured by how well he follows through. If he cannot honor a commitment, he communicates openly and takes responsibility rather than making excuses. His word is his bond, and those who know him trust that when he says something, he means it. He does not manipulate, deceive, or mislead because he values truth more than personal gain. Integrity is also evident in how a man treats others. He does not change his behavior based on status or social standing. He treats all people with respect, regardless of what they can offer him. He does not flatter those above him while looking down on those below him. His principles remain constant, whether he is dealing with a superior, a friend, or a stranger. He does not seek to impress others through deception or exaggeration. He lets his actions speak for themselves, knowing that true respect is earned through consistency, not through words alone. In the face of temptation, integrity is tested. Many compromise their values when they believe no one is watching, or when they think they can escape the consequences. The man of integrity, however, does not need an audience to hold him accountable. He does what is right because it is right, not because he fears being caught. He does not take shortcuts, cheat, or deceive, even when he could do so without detection. He understands that the greatest betrayal is not of others, but of himself. To act without integrity is to undermine his own sense of worth, and no amount of external success can compensate for that loss. A man with integrity also stands firm in his beliefs, even when they are unpopular. He does not seek approval by compromising his values. He does not change his convictions to fit in or to avoid conflict. He speaks the truth, even when it is difficult, and he does not shy away from standing alone if necessary. He does not betray his principles for temporary comfort or acceptance. Instead, he remains steadfast, knowing that real strength is found in unwavering moral character. Integrity also requires courage. It is easy to be honest when honesty is convenient. It is easy to do the right thing when there is no pressure to do otherwise. But the true test of integrity comes when doing the right thing carries a cost. A man of integrity does not fold under pressure, nor does he allow fear to dictate his choices. He understands that the respect of others is valuable, but self-respect is even more important. He does not sell his integrity for short-term gain, because he knows that once lost it is difficult to regain. In relationships, integrity is essential. A man who lacks integrity cannot be trusted as a partner, friend, or leader. Deception erodes trust, and once the trust is broken, it is nearly impossible to rebuild. A man of integrity, however, creates security and confidence in those around him. His word is dependable, his actions are consistent, and his character is unwavering. He does not manipulate, deceive, or use others for personal gain. Instead, he builds relationships based on honesty, respect, and mutual trust. A life built on integrity is a life of stability and honor. While the dishonest man may experience temporary success, his lack of character will eventually be his downfall. Those who cut corners, betray trust, and deceive others may gain advantages in the short term, but their foundation is weak. Over time, their reputation crumbles, and the consequences of their actions catch up with them. A man of integrity, however, stands strong, even in adversity. He does not fear exposure, because he has nothing to hide. He does not regret his actions, because he has lived with honor. His name carries weight, and his reputation is one of respect. Ultimately, integrity is not about what a man claims to be, but what he proves himself to be through his actions. It is not determined by grand statements or public displays, but by the small, consistent choices made every day. A man of integrity does not seek external validation because he is secure in his own sense of right and wrong. His strength lies in his unshakable commitment to truth, and because of this he earns the respect, trust, and admiration of those around him. A man of integrity does not seek applause, nor does he require recognition to stay true to his principles. His strength is not in words but in actions, in the quiet consistency of doing what is right, even when no one is watching. Integrity is not a single act but a way of life, a foundation upon which trust, respect, and honor are built. In the end, success without integrity is hollow, and power without principles is fleeting. A man who stands firm in his values will always walk with his head held high, knowing that he has remained true to himself. While others may waver, he remains steadfast, for he understands that the greatest victory is not in what he gains, but in the unwavering character he refuses to lose.